on F1 TV is going to be extremely exciting.
And tell me about the fans as well and how they took all of the drama, the Hamilton drama, exactly.
Oh yeah,
at the race
look,
party, the viewing party.
when Hamilton had to come from behind, from I think the ninth position or so, with a few more laps to go, he took on the two Ferraris, took on a Red Bull, took on two McLarens, and anytime he had an overtaking, the crowd just went crazy, and it showed you the type of driver Hamilton is. For him to come all the way, at some point, he was out of the race. He even thought he was out of the race. He had hit some of the panels, came back, changed his front wings. It was a whole lot of drama for him, and for him to come all the way to P2, it was just an exciting race. If he had one or two more laps to go, he probably could have taken on Verstappen. But it was just amazing. The fans were just over the roof.
And of course, considering what happened in football in the last week and a half, we should all be concerned, and people should have their eyes very much open so that nobody threatens to go and do a super F1.
I think the football fraternity should learn from F1, right? Because at some point, Mercedes-Benz and their research and development team had taken on the rules. They had built their car in such a way that they were winning the race continuously. The top 6 teams in F1 were always there. But then FIA came with Formula One and introduced new rules. And we are all seeing the effect of the new rules this year because the races are very close, more overtaking happening. There's a cap on their spending. And I've been saying this all the time, that the football fraternity has to learn from this cap from spending. If a player is moving and his salary can be capped, we wouldn't have been seeing all of this super F1 will not happen because the FIA and F1, they learn their lessons quick. That's why every year there are new rules and some new changes in the game.
All right. Well, once we're very clear and we're secured and we know that it's not going to happen in F1, then we can move on.
No.
Okay, Kwabena, so what's happening next weekend in terms of the arrangements for the viewing party?
So next weekend we're having our first. The first 2 viewing parties were at Marina Mall, and next weekend we're going to Labad Beach Hotel at the Beach Drive car park. So as usual, next weekend the race starts around 2 p.m. Then the car park is going to open from 11 a.m. in the morning. We're going to have food, fashion. Heineken is setting up a bar. DSTV as usual is going to be on hand. A lot of discounts on their recorders. There's more exciting packages coming from Betway. Betway is also going to be there. So it's going to be a complete Sunday afternoon hangout. And remember, it's a long weekend. We're expecting people to show up on the Sunday because Monday, obviously, they're not going to work. So we're having a whole food meets, speed, meets fast cars, fashion. You find the likes of Osborne shoes. You find Skechers available. So it's a day out. It's a food day out.
All right, let's see how it goes. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Nat.
So we'll see you next weekend, and we're going to have our conversation before that as well.
Definitely, my brother. Thank you.
Kwabena Poku is the coordinator of F1 Ghana, and we just have that conversation. It's time to go into the Olympic discussion here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Thank you very much for staying here with us on your Superstation Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I'm glad to be in your company as we bring you another Joy Sports link here. Well, last weekend we were discussing, a lot of boxing stuff. Today, there's a bit of boxing as well because it's part of the Olympic movement, and Ghana is going to take part in the boxing event. But of course, when it comes to the Olympic Games, it's a way broader conversation and a way bigger picture. So here with me is the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, who recently got re-elected for another 4-year cycle and a 4-year term. Mr. Ben Nunu Mensah, APSU, my senior APSU. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you very, very much. You always make us proud that we were in the college together with yourself. I mean, it's sometimes when you're on air and somebody calls me and says, Charlie, your guy's on there, say yes. Oko School Papa. But thanks, you're making the school very proud, and we're very proud of
Thank you very much, and congratulations, belated congratulations on winning, another term, for the GOC as GOC president.
Thank you very much, Nat.
Let's do a bit on that on the election. It was you put yourselves together in teams or in blocks, and the voting patterns also went in blocks, and one side won, one side lost wholesale. Now, how would you describe the whole process, the whole electioneering process? Because in previous years, we had seen a lot of, acrimony, a lot of controversy ahead of the elections, and, some level of instability, even on the election grounds and all of that. So how would you describe the experience of being a part of this year's election for the Ghana Olympic Committee?
No, I think it was a good one, and I'm happy you've been around for a long while and you've noticed what had happened in the previous GOC elections. I have followed GOC elections since the days of E.T. Mensah when Peter Podogbe went against B.T. Baba, and I know what it was like, and I've seen B.T. Baba, Francis Dodu, myself, so I understand where you're coming from. I think that what made this time around very different was that you had an incumbent who wanted to be fair, and provide a level playing grounds for everybody. In the past, the incumbents had tried to make all kinds or adopt all kinds of means to make sure that they stayed in power. I was very much involved in the BT Baba Francis Dodu elections, and I know what had gone on. I contested against the last elections, and I know when over 90 or 3 or 4 federations, formed, and they wanted to take part in the elections, and they were bringing delegates, we had to petition, so it tells you that, look, when you give everybody an equal playing field and you want to be fair to everybody, we can have clean and fair elections, and very quick ones. I mean, we spend no more than 3 hours in the elections. I'm sure you've seen GOC elections where you run for a whole day, deep into the night. So, unfortunately for us also, we got very fair-minded electoral commission. I mean, now Dufoli on any day, on any time, has earned the respect of everybody in this country. Because I think she and her team also did excellently well. Apart from the fact that the incumbents or the administration wanted to be fair, I think that we should give some credit to Nando Foley and their team.
Great stuff. Let's talk about, the other side, which is lawyer Akbukavi and his team. Now, I always hear people after elections saying, we're still friends and we're going to be having conversations together to see how to move things forward. And then the other side will say, you have my support. We are together in this, and this is a theme that runs along elections across board. So, have you had any conversation with lawyer Akbukavi after you got re-elected?
Yeah, Richard on the day of the election, just before he left the hall, congratulated me. But since then, we haven't had much discussions. I haven't had a chance to meet him, but he was at the GOC to hand over to lawyer Sanu. But I want to believe that he has all good wishes and intentions for the success of the current administration.
Now, do you see the GOC having any sort of collaboration or any sort of, any sort of joint effort with the team that lost, that's led by lawyer Akbukavi?
Oh, of course, these are all men and women who belong to national federations. I'm sure when our subcommittees list comes out officially, you realize that there are people who had belonged to that camp who were still part of the subcommittees of the GOC. I mean, anybody who has talent in this country, anybody who has a good heart and a good mind, and wants to help to develop the sports, wants to help these young boys and girls who are doing sports. Why not? The GOC is for all of us, and it's always been my mode of operation. I embrace everybody and I bring everybody on board. So once you have something good to offer, and in a very positive way, why not? You're all part of the GOC.
Great stuff. If you just joined us, this is the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. We're also on My Joy Online TV on YouTube, and greetings to all of our friends who are joining us from around the world. And of course, we are saying greetings to all of our friends on Joy News and on Joy Prime as well. This is a conversation with the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Ben Numensa. We are taking a look at the situation as it stands now and as we get ourselves ready for yet another Olympic Games event. Some athletes have qualified, but it goes beyond that. There's a lot of work to be done in the background, and we want to get into the mind of the GOC president and also, gauge where we are regarding our strengths, our financial strengths, our organizational strengths as well. As we build up to the games. There's 90 days to go. It may sound like a lot of time, but things may go wrong if we don't plan properly. Now, and also remember that you can send us your messages. It's 055 1111997, 055 1111997. Now, let's revisit this issue that always comes up. And I believe that it is important for the benefit of our friends who do not understand the doings and the operations of the GOC. Now, in the last edition of the Commonwealth Games, there were issues. The whole visa scandal, people posing as journalists to go again. Let's have a final conversation on that one, and take a look at how much it is even affecting what you are doing now or your efforts now. Obviously, the visa scandal for that that event created a lot of national embarrassment for Ghana, but beyond that, we also need to understand the doings and the operations of the GOC. The GOC does not handle media accreditation for journalists, does it?
No, we don't. We don't.
So please take us through the process one more time.
Okay, and I hope it's not gonna. You see, there are two systems for people to get accreditation, or people who had accreditation to Australia. One is through the GOC system, and then the other one is through the journalist's own system. Where they become their own accreditation liaison officers directly with the organizers. Okay, GOC's accreditation system. Yes, we had challenges. That is why you realize that we had sanctioned a few people who belong, because there was an attempt to abuse the GOC's accreditation system. But we took steps. We punished those who attempted to abuse our accreditation system. But what actually caused the national embarrassment has nothing to do with the GOC, had nothing to do with Pius, as people wrongly accuse him of. It has nothing to do with the GOC system.
And by Pius, you mean the former deputy minister for youth and sport?
It has nothing to do with government. Nothing to do with government. Okay. Now, what happens when you're going for international games is that maybe about three years before the start of the games, the organizers will float a link for all the media houses all over the world. Okay. And then as a media house, you go to the link, enter the name of your media house. And then after you've done that, they would do a kind of background check if those media, for instance, multimedia, initially will be multimedia. And then they check, is there a media house in Ghana called multimedia? Okay, they do their own background check where they have challenges. Of course, there are a lot of online. They would send these things to the NOC. Can you confirm if there's a media house in Ghana called something online? If we know, we will. They will do their own independent checks. And after they've done that, then they write back to those media houses. Okay, now send us the names of your journalists. Okay, and then the media houses sends the names of their journalists directly. not through the GOC, not through anybody, not through powers, not anybody. Okay. So it was that accreditation system that had challenges because your colleagues in the media, in sending names of media people who are supposed to be media guys, I'd send shoe shine boys and, you know, people who are not or who do not really work with those media houses. I mean, I can list a whole lot. Swag even had people they had given uh, letters to as media houses. Okay, there's a whole list. I mean, if you guys are interested in looking at that, I'll give you the whole list. Okay, so what happened was that once those accreditation were ready, Australia sent them to us through the GOC mailing box and said, okay, these following journalists have been given accreditation for the Australian Games. It is just for your information. You cannot comment on it. I mean, I'll send that email to you. Okay, so it was given to the media houses. Apparently, most of the names that they had put there, or a few of the names that they had put there, they didn't belong to those media houses. And they got to Australia, and then at the airport, they couldn't identify themselves, or they couldn't express themselves, or they couldn't give a confirmation to the immigration officers that they are media persons. So they were detained, about 9 of them, and they were sent back. There was one who had a genuine case. He was a real genuine media. I think there's a guy who works with Angel FM in Kumasi. He didn't have any problem, but later I got to know that his challenge was that he didn't have enough funds on him to pay for his accommodation and stuff like that. Apart from him, uh, the 9 others who were returned, I haven't heard of any genuine case. Somebody who was really, of course, there was somebody who worked with his brother who works with one of the radio stations in Tesano, who he claims he works with this company, But I have had an idea of what the police report looks like, and these guys, the names they mention, are people in the media. Nobody mentioned Powers, nobody mentioned the GOC, But when issues happen and people want to blame others when they know that they had caused the problem, that is where it was a bit disheartening. Where we had a problem with an attempt to abuse our accreditation system, we took them on. We make sure they face a disciplinary committee. I haven't heard anything being done by SWAG or you guys in media as your colleagues. I'm not saying what they did. There are so many people who went to Australia. There's nothing wrong with trying to help people, to Ghanaians to travel, to go and look for greener pastures. But when we make mistakes, let's accept that, yes, I committed a mistake and I'm sorry. And then we move on. But when you make mistake and you try to blame somebody and then for year in, year out, that is also not fair. So this is what it is. Journalists who were returned from Australia has nothing to do with the GOC. They deal directly with the organizers. And look, you had guys from here who had gotten accreditation. I know if there's a gentleman from Kasapa, Alex, you can talk to all these journalists and ask them if they went through the GOC. It's had nothing to do with the GOC. I'm not too sure if Benedict, who was here, got his accreditation or if he didn't. But there are people here who had applied, and some got and some didn't get. You can find out from them if at any point in time they have to go to the GOC.
Now, so how much of an effect has this had on current efforts to get yourself organized for
I think I've been able to identify 2 effects, okay? Because of the misinformation, and maybe because the GOC were not proactive in coming out to lay the facts, as I've just said early enough, it kind of affected the image of the GOC. People think it was the GOC or it was Pius Ejidam who did it. Okay, so that is the first effect. The other effect is which is a real one. The people out there knows who really applied for accreditation and the process. They understand. And I think that I'm being told that nobody was given, no Ghanaian journalist was given an accreditation to cover Tokyo. Probably I hear just a lady from GNA who got accreditation. Maybe. We're shooting ourselves in the foot when we all go on there and talk about Australia, and try to blame somebody else when we know that we caused the problem. Maybe that's the reason why nobody from Ghana. But you see, we have to learn to protect ourselves or to learn to protect our nation. in our quest to think that we're destroying others, we're probably destroying ourselves. Now, look at the way our sports is being branded. Too much negative news. Look, nobody says that when we go wrong, nobody should talk about it. But we talk about things over and over and over and over and over again. And sometimes we talk as if we don't make mistakes ourselves. I mean, look, there's nobody in this world who doesn't make mistakes. So when my brother commits a mistake, I will talk about it, but it has to stop somewhere. But when we go on and on and on and on, we're negatively branding our sports. And there are a lot of good things that we can brand our sports with, and that is affecting sponsorship.
So once again, your suspicion is that the scandal, the visa scandal, may have affected,
I'm not too
our
sure.
numbers of media.
You can only, guess these things that why. If there's, because a lot of media guys had called me, oh, we applied for Tokyo and we didn't get. Well, I said, why? What's happening? So for me, it's only an advice that, look, we all make mistakes, but when we make mistakes, let's be circumspect. There's no house where there's no immense there. But every time we want to talk about mistakes of others, when we ourselves can do the same mistake, we need to be careful, especially when we're trying to create a brand that is already suffering from lack of sponsorship. The only people who can come in to support our sponsor is the corporate world, and nobody will want to be associated with a bad brand, and that is the way our sports is being perceived. So it's not going to help us. And you guys make your living from the industry. I don't get paid from running sports, but you sports journalists, that's how you get paid. So why don't you rather work to make sure that the industry is booming? There's a lot of funding or sponsors coming into the industry. Yes, there may be mistakes, but let's talk about them. But please, let's not overdo it. It's affecting sponsors.
Thoughts of the GOC president, the Ghana Olympic Committee president, Ben Numensa, here on the Joy Sports link on Joy 99.7 FM. Keep messages coming in. It's +233 55 1111 997. +233 55 1199 1111 997. Well, let's get into Tokyo now. It's 90 days to go. I mean, more or less 3 months to go. That sounds like a lot of time when it comes to organizing ourselves, but I see you shaking your head.
No,
it means that we are already running out of time.
It's not a lot of time. Okay. Not, I'm sure you know it.
Yeah. So tell me, first of all, we do not have the full complements of athletes who have qualified. So maybe premature to ask about the cost element of taking part in the Olympics, but at least we can have a fair idea of what it is that will compose the cost element of taking part in Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah. Okay. So by way of qualifiers, just to share information, we currently have just 6 athletes who have qualified. We have 3 from track and field: Nadia, Azamati, can't remember the other, Amoa. Okay. And then we have 3 boxers: Shaku, Tete, and then Samuel. They are Samuel Techi. They are those who have qualified yet. We have the chance of qualifying one more boxer. We have the chance of qualifying a weightlifter. We have the chance of qualifying a swimmer. Our beach volleyball team are also in contention, as well as our fencing team, and then our judo team. By the end of May, we'll be able to have the full complement of our qualified athletes. Our projections are based on the idea that we could have about 12 athletes showing up in Tokyo. If that happens, then what it means is that the budget that we have, or the cost element that we're looking at, it's going to fit in with what we have planned. One of the biggest costs that always comes to us when we have to go for international games is our pre-games training. Fortunately for us, somewhere in December 2018, the GOC signed an agreement with a town called Inawashiro, where they've agreed to host us free of charge, a contingent of about 30 for a month prior to the game. So that cost element has been taken out. The other cost that could also be a major thing is our kitting. We're currently in discussion with ERA. They have just sent us the designs and then the total cost. We're being lucky. They are asking us to pay just about 30% of what it would have cost us. We've had discussion with one
What
of
would
our.
have what would have
It would
cost
have
us?
cost us to have those kits. We're just going to pay
So how
30.
much?
What they are sent to us is about 29,000 euro. Okay, for a contingent size of 50. We are in discussion with Ashphone, one of our sponsors, and they've already agreed to give us $20,000. We're linking them up with the kits manufacturers, so they'll have a discussion. If Ashphone sponsorship is not enough to pay for that, we're also in discussion with Trillium, and then Toyota, and then JK Industries. So hopefully we could get sponsors to pick up the kits, the cost of our kits. The other cost element is, of course, the per diems that we normally pay to the athletes and officials when they go. I can't give you the exact figure now, but I can tell you that we have a total budget of something close to $300,000. The other budget line in our cost is the cost of hotels to accommodate other visitors. Now, Nat, if Ghana is lucky to qualify 12 athletes, it gives us just 23 rooms in the village. So what it means is that any other person, be it official or government dignitary that goes to Tokyo, has to be accommodated in a hotel. We have blocked some hotels. The total cost of the hotel is about $60,000 for the period, and now these things were done before COVID, before 2020. So we're looking at reducing the numbers, because now it's going to be an Olympics without spectators. I'm sure you know. There's no Japanese embassy in the world going to give visitors
Visas
visa
for the games.
For the games, no, they don't want anybody. And even for the athletes and officials, once your event is finished, you're out of Tokyo. If you finish maybe your 100 meters and you're not going through to the finals, that's it. You're on the next plane the next day back to your country. That's the kind of Olympics you're having. So I don't even also want people to be too keen about going to Tokyo, because even for the athletes and officials, you're going to stay in a kind of a bubble. You can't go outside that bubble. When you go outside the bubble without permission, you're going to be sent back home. And then even if with the permission, you come back and you need to be quarantined for 10 days. So it's not going to be that kind of the exciting Olympics that and everybody knows. Okay, so back to the costs that we're talking about. So for the hotels, that is the other part. So far, I think we paid about $29,000 to the organizers to block those hotels. So there's still a bit of it to be paid for, and so those are the actual costs. Normally when you qualify for the Olympic Games, the organizers will give you tickets for some of the qualified, that is at least 75% of your contingent size. So there's not much money to be paid in terms of tickets for the athletes, but the other officials who are going. One thing I also want to educate Ghanaians on, you see, entries into the games or allocations to Olympic Games or any other top level games, it is done through a system where they call the team size calculator. The more athletes you qualify, the calculator generates the number of officials that you can go along.
I was coming to that.
So
Yeah.
I just told you that if we're able to qualify 12 athletes, then Ghana is going to get 23 beds in the village. If we qualify less athletes, we're going to get less number of officials. Okay.
Now, can you also educate me on this one? The athletes and who is expected to be with them. I'm talking about their technical handlers. So for boxing, for instance, Coach Ofori Asare is the head coach. They also have a team of trainers. Those who take care of their physicals. Those who, an assistant coach and all of that. So what will be the arrangement in this regard?
Okay,
I'm talking
so
about the athletes as well who are going in there. Some of them actually have their own personal trainers as well. So what will be the arrangement?
Okay, so Nat, let's say we qualified 23 athletes.
Okay.
We qualified 12 athletes. It gives us 23 beds in the village. Okay, the 12 athletes immediately take 12 of the beds. So we're left with just 11 beds. You know, boxing would always go with at least three technical officers. Okay. Track and field will probably go with two as well. Okay, so that's five. And then if there's any other discipline that has qualified, maybe weightlifting would also go with a technical person. So that's six. So immediately out of your 11 beds, six is gone off. You're left with 5 beds now. The chef de mission will take a bed. The doctor, the team doctor, would also take a bed. And then now there's a COVID, it's a requirement. This is a COVID coordinator, who would in this case also be our security coordinator, also takes a bed. So 3 beds. The chef de mission needs an administrative staff to work with, a minimum of 2 people who are going to help. Okay, so that takes, so even without the complement of the federation presidents, of course, if track and field qualifies, it's just fair and proper that you make sure that the president of the track and field is there, because he probably put in all the work. If boxing qualifies, you have to make sure that Mr. Lamte is there. He did all the work for these boys to qualify. So beds in the village are finished. That is why I said that the other way we can accommodate officials who have to be there is to pay, and put them in a hotel.
Because one other area that has been problematic in our participation in events has been the numbers that we send. The reason why I went on that tangent. So in terms of the officials, especially from the ministry, from the side of government, you already have a chef de mission. Now, who else are we expecting? So you've given us the technical contingents, which obviously, I mean, we cannot do without.
The medical team,
the security
team,
coordinator,
they have to
administrative staff.
They need to be in the village.
Yes.
Exactly.
And who else?
The presidents of the federation, for me, I think they are the next most important people. The president of the federations, whose disciplines have qualified. Because
is this a practice that we've had in previous years?
Yes.
Please remind me.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It is a practice that we've had where we have presidents attend.
Exactly, because other games, even though we have a chef de mission, we have all the other stuff. For instance, if there's a weightlifting event, okay, it is being run by international weightlifting. International weightlifting would rather feel comfortable dealing with Jared Shaib, the president, who is already known to them. Okay, he's going to be at the events and things, and they relate better. Okay, yes, the chef mission has overall rule, oversight, but it is always better when the national federation president is dealing with the IFs who are running the games per se. So it's very important. And sometimes it's that these international events that they organize their seminars, their coaching courses, and sometimes even their general assembly. So it's important that you send these national federation president. And that being said, Nat, I think it's just fair and proper that if somebody has sacrificed so much, especially in an era where they hardly get any funding from government, they've done so much to make sure that the athletes are prepared well. Because GOC we do not own the athletes, and that's one thing that I also want Ghanaians to know. The athletes are owned by their national federation. They prepare them, they train them for 4 years. They only bring them to the GOC when we are going for games. And then what we do, of course, we make available the pre-games training camp. But of course, during the 4 years, GOC will always support the national federation with money. We put most of the athletes will be on GOC scholarships. We'll give the federation money to go to qualifiers, and we support them as well. Okay, but that having said, the key person or in every national, or the key person in every national athlete's life is the president of his or a federation. And I think it's always fair and proper that we accord them that respect and appreciation for what they have done or what they keep doing for our national teams.
Well, we'll come to financing, but just remember that you can send in your messages and be part of the conversation. Your questions as well are very much welcome on our various platforms. Now, the issue of funding always comes up. Okay, now from the little you gave me, the rough calculation is that we're hovering around $500,000.
$300,000.
No, but $300,000 plus the other, so the equipment, for instance, is in euro, so that should be another 30,000.
Well,
Okay.
I've put everything together. That's the 300,000.
Oh,
Because
okay.
a very
So
small
everything.
contingent.
Okay, okay. So
It's a very small contingent.
everything should be in the region of $300,000.
$300,000.
Okay. Now, you've embarked on a sponsorship drive. I remember very well that on the ground, immediately after you got re-elected at the the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences Hall, you said that you were getting to work immediately. You've made mention of some of them, given us a few details as well.
Yeah.
How good is it looking? I mean, how good is it looking?
Extremely good. For an industry that people don't really want to associate that quickly, it's looking very well, especially with ash foam. I say they've always been there for us. I mean, ash foam, and let me say hi to George and Nanaya and all the guys at ash foam. They've really been there for Ghana sports, not only for the GOC, but you see them supporting other sports, especially boxing.
Yeah, George Massey,
Yeah,
great guy,
a great guy.
Yeah,
Nuts. These guys are, they
and
just love
one
their
other
country.
thing that I noticed is that, and I think this is something that corporate bodies must learn generally, is that they are trying to invest in sporting facilities within their factories,
exactly,
so
exactly.
that people can play sport, their factory workers can play
Excellent.
sport.
You see,
I think it's an excellent
Yeah,
idea.
these are great guys, and thanks to them. So it looks very good with ash foam. Ash foam last year had promised to give us $20,000, and when we met them last week, it looks like they were even thinking of topping it up with something. That's why I said the kits will probably pick the cost of our kits in for Tokyo. We've also had discussions with Betway, and it looks very, very good, extremely good. We've had discussion with Toyota, very, very good, okay? And then, even though we haven't had discussion, but there's huge promise from Trillium, that's the manufacturers of Rush Energy Drink and the Planet range of drinks, and then McBerry biscuits. So for now, these are the companies that have stood out, and they really want to go. We've sent a number of sponsorship letters to some companies, and we're hoping that when we do our second round in the course of next week, we should be able to get about 5 others to join. What we plan doing, I've had discussion with the minister, is that if we can go to an Olympic Games and then the budgets for the games is picked up by corporate Ghana, without putting undue pressure on the ministry's very, very little budgets. I say very little budget because the kind of budget that goes into our sports ministry, it's nothing compared to the responsibility that the minister always has on his hand. So if we can do these games, and GOC, we've done it before. I mean, we've gone to games where we hardly picked a pesewa from the ministry. If we can do that, for instance, taking 300,000 off the minister's head and off his small budgets for 2021, that would be huge. So we're trying to work on the sponsorship. However, once I've had discussion with him, we are forming the International Games Committee. If it happens that we don't come up with a full figure, I'm sure the minister and the government will readily come up and top up wherever we fall short.
Now let's look at the reward structure. It's unfortunate that we're having to have this conversation again, but there's one boxer, for instance, whose case always saddens me a great deal. I'm talking about Wahid Mohammed.
Yeah.
I mean, Wahid.
Yeah.
Wahid won a bronze medal, at the Commonwealth Games, and an amount of $3,000, which was supposed to be his reward, has still not been paid. He's one of the people we're hoping would gain qualification to the games. Now, what is the reward structure for this event, and how is it going to be done?
Okay, we haven't come up with a firm that reward structure yet, but it's not going to be anything different from what we had proposed for the Commonwealth Games government.
So what was the proposal?
What is assuring this time around that we are looking at the possibility of that money being paid by the GOC, and not by government. We always have a problem drawing money or at least reward from government. Unfortunately, if you don't play football, and then you have to be given a reward. It becomes very difficult for the ministry to do that. So Wahid's concern is being my concern for this number of years. I think that is very, very unfair. These are people who, when it matters most, have stood up and then raised the flag of Ghana. But we treat them as if their sports doesn't matter. And that is something you and I and everybody in this country needs to sit up and address. Look, every child or everybody doing sports for Ghana is as important as any other person doing the sports, whether you're playing football or whether you're doing boxing or whether you're doing weightlifting. It's about time we start recognizing them as such, but it's so unfortunate that we recognize the people who play football and think that they are the only people who bring glory and honor to this country. So those doing the so-called least finance sports, even money to go for competitions, to qualify for major tournaments, they don't get it. So it is a national problem. You and I are part of it. Everybody. Wahid wins a medal, a bronze medal, and he comes to the airport, and there's nobody there to meet him. There's no official to meet him. But let our national under 17 football team go and they come back even with nothing. You see the kind of people who go and meet them at the airport. So most of our athletes who are doing the so-called least finance sports feel very, very abandoned, especially when they know that at their national federation level, virtually nothing comes to them. They have to hustle. If they have to go for camping, they have to go and stay in some ramshackle, place where if you're playing football, you'll be put in a 5-star hotel. We need to address these issues because these are the disciplines that are bringing us medals. Look, in the last 3-4 years, now let's be fair. Which of our disciplines has won African medals for us? You just look at the last African Games. It was weightlifting and track and field. How much did these young boys and girls get? But you have footballers who go and play in just one tournament. And that's not to say to downgrade the effect of football. But I'm saying that if we're doing it for our footballers, it is just fair and proper that wherever we pass and get money and do it for these other people, it's okay. But we can't be doing it for one group of Ghanaian children and then the other group who also have the same talent, God-given talent, just like our footballers have. We don't do anything for them. That is not fair. And that is not encouraging. If we keep doing the same thing, we'll continue to get the same results. If we want to change the way our sports is progressing, then we need to start doing things differently.
Well, your messages I'll be sharing with you very shortly. You can tweet at us as well at JoySportsGH, and that's our handle on Facebook as well. And also, once again, I'm saying greetings to all of our friends, who are watching us via My Joy Online TV on YouTube. Now, this thing about reward, finances, and all of that plays a very, very key role in our participation in the games. Now, you didn't give me the specifics as to what you are proposing, to government. So, gold medal gets what? A silver?
$5,000.
Okay, and silver medal?
Silver medal, I think it's about 3,000, and bronze is 1,000.
Okay, okay.
At
So
least,
that's what you're proposing.
At least something that on our own as NOC or as GOC, we know, look, this is something we can reach out and pay. But it should be better. I mean, somebody goes out to the Olympic Games and then he wins a gold medal. That is a huge honor. That is a huge honor. I mean, this guy should be given a national honor. How many medals have we won?
Mafabisa is the only Olympian who has succeeded with getting gold.
Exactly. So where's Matabitha now? What did we do for her? Yes, the president was kind enough to give her some money, but I think that if we had structured things properly, Matabisa should have been an icon by now. She should have been hugely rewarded. I mean, so once we identify our mistakes, you see, what hurts me is that it looks like we don't learn from our mistakes and we make them over and over again. As a nation, we all know the challenges that we have. Nat, when I came in, you were speaking about how things were before. Okay, we all know how things were before. How were things before? What did we do to make them what they were? We know them. Why have we stopped doing them? We know those years back when Ghana was on top of African sports. We know what we used to do for athletes. We, if it's boxing, we go and camp them in Cuba for so many months before even the games. We make sure that all our boxers they have the chance to go and compete in any African competition that is available. We keep them very active, and they're always rubbing shoulders with their peers in Africa. So when they get to the world stage, they are not scared, and then they come up being tops. But these days, what happens? They don't even get money to even go to a competition in Cote d'Ivoire, where you can even drive across. And sometimes I remember our volleyball team had to go for a competition in Niger. They spent close to 5 days on the road in some rickety NSA bus. What stopped us from flying them? We are not doing.
I've covered volleyball, and we've also traveled to Niger before for an All Africa Games. Then it was the All Africa Games. It was a qualifier.
Yeah.
We traveled by bus. We
Yeah.
traveled by road. It was an experience.
We need
Yeah.
to address this as a nation. And
Now, so we always talk about planning ahead of time and how previous events are supposed to inform what we do. So, in terms of what has happened in the last 4 years leading to Tokyo, how would you rate the effort? Because you have been in charge. In terms of coordinating the efforts of all of the federation heads concerned and making sure that you're getting their feedback and there's a certain level of measurement of what they are doing to make sure that we have people who are qualification worthy for the games.
yes, okay. So what we've done differently is, I'm sure you're aware that the GOC has tried to raise funds and support as many national federations to be able to go to their qualifiers as possible. In the past, that wasn't there. Yes, the monies that we have is limited. We can't stretch ourselves more than we can. If you recall, we helped the Meteors, try to get them to qualify in their last matches, and thanks to us also, if we hadn't put in the kind of amount that we are putting, we would not be talking about, Techi and Tete and all these boxers who have qualified. We make sure that for their last qualifiers in Senegal,
Yeah.
we spent close to $20,000 just to get these boys there. So that is the difference, or that's what is being done differently now with of course with my previous administration, and currently we're going to continue. In the last 4 years, I make sure that whenever the GOC has funding, whenever we have money, the money should go to the national federations. GOC doesn't need money. All that we need is to pay our staff, pay our electricity bill. But any money set in the GOC account should go to a national federation because they own the athletes. They are not getting the kind of support that they should be getting from the NSA. So if GOC has money, why don't we support them? And that is what we've been doing. And that's the kind you're seeing, national federations qualify. We supported the bad meeting. There's so many of the federations that we supported. Of course, they all couldn't qualify for the Olympics, but we still have our volleyball team, trying to qualify. The weightlifting team is also trying to qualify. And of course, the swimming. We've been very supportive of the swimming. Abeku and his guys, the GOCs, in the last 4 years has been very, very supportive of them. Currently, Abeku is on a scholarship which was worked by myself and the world president. So that is what we're doing, and we intend to make it better in the current administration.
All right. Now, we've seen a lot of that happen. We've done coverage on all of these. In terms of what the GOC has been doing to reach out and meet the federations halfway. But at this stage, that we're waiting for a few more to qualify, obviously, this is a very low representation of what we are as a sporting nation. I mean, this is the Olympic Games. We've had 4 years of making sure that we have people who can get there. Yet, we only have 6 to qualify. It's not a pretty picture.
No, it's not. I mean, if we hadn't stopped what we used to do in the 70s, in the 80s, if we had continued with the way we're developing our sports, I am sure you and I will not be sitting here and talking about contingent size of 12 to Olympic Games. We'll probably be talking about something in the 60s and close to the 100. But that is a reality on the ground. We stopped supporting the development of our sports. In the last 4 years, the Minister for Youth and Sports had done well by investing in infrastructure. What I constantly speak to the current minister about, it is now time to start investing in our athletes. Now, let's be fair to these young boys and girls. You ask yourself, how much do we spend on one of our elite athletes in a year? Virtually nothing. Look, other countries are spending so much money to build their athletes over a 4 year period. Why? We go and put them in a pre-games training camp for 4 weeks, and then we expect them to win medals against those who have been training for 4 years. It doesn't work like that. Our athletes don't even have funding to go for African competitions, even within African countries. Whilst other nations are competing, they are going on the Golden League, they are doing so much, investing so much in their athletes. And we expect that when we go to compete with these guys, we do better than them. It doesn't work that way. You see, as a nation, we need to come to the realization that if we want to do sports, it's expensive, then let's do it. If we don't want to do it, then let's stop worrying these young boys and girls. But you see, why will we sit back and say the core of our nation, or people who have the future of our nation, we don't want to invest in them? I mean, that is something that I always find very difficult to understand. The youth are the future of our country. Whether they are going to school or they are doing sports, that is what they want to do. Why can't we help them to live that dream? Why can't we help them to create that future for themselves? We invest virtually nothing negative into the development of our boxers, or as a nation. Now, just go back and look at the statistics. All of us are to be blamed, not only the minister, the GOC, yourself as a sports journalist, all of us, the sponsors. We have stopped taking interest in the development of our youth. That is simply what it is. Because if we haven't, look, we are fine. Look at Azamati. Look at the hassle that he had to go through, even before getting scholarship, to go to the US. You're talking about boxers. You should go and see where Techi stays. Techi's like my son. You go and see where he lives. How Techi feeds a day, nobody cares. Mr. Lamte is just an ordinary worker at the airport. How much does he earn in a month that he can feed or take some to feed his boxers? It is the responsibility of all of us as a nation to invest and help these guys to attain the highest level that their talent can take them. But we have stopped.
And talk about the national boxing, the amateur boxing team, the Black Bombers. So the Trust Sports Emporium yesterday, have made available their facility for the team to train. And I'm told that they will also be camping at the Royal Dede Hotel, which is not too far away, about 2 minutes away from
they can even jog from their hotel to
the training ground. So that at least gives everybody a certain peace of mind. That at least our boxers are going to be camped. They are going to be monitored properly. Their nutrition and everything is going to be monitored. Ahead of the games.
And I've asked Mr. Lamte to send the budgets to the GOC, and we're definitely going to pay for this stuff. I mean, but how much can we do? They need more than what the GOC can pay for, and that is why it's important that corporate Ghana reaches out and support them.
All right, now let's take a look at projects. This idea of having an Olympic training center, an Olympic stadium, here in Ghana, it's been there, it's been on the table for some time now. Now your administration has taken it up as a major, project that you want to execute. We've had conversations about it. You've spoken about it a couple of times. What's the status? What then will be your timelines for delivery of that one, which you've said is going to be focused on helping develop
Young talents.
develop
Exactly.
talents. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so that is the Olympia Africa Center, which is going to be in Amasama, and that's the biggest challenge that has uh, that we've had.
Confronted you, yeah.
Yes, was title to the land.
Okay.
Even though for the past 16 years we always talk about GOC has land in Amasama land,
Yeah.
there was never any documentation. Yes, the land was initially given to the GOC by the Ministry of Agric, who didn't even have title to the land, who even didn't have any right
I see.
to them. So anybody we went to support, even including the IOC, would always want to find out if the land really belongs to the NOC, because if IOC is going to invest in a project, they want to be sure that that project belongs to the GOC. So that has been a challenge until somewhere late last year in November, and here let me say a very big thank you to the Vice President Alhaji Dr. Baumia, and then also the former Minister for Youth and Sports Honorable Isiama, and of course the Chief Director then late Mr. Chris, and then the Executive Secretary for the Lands Commission Alhaji Sule, and of course GOC board member Jerry Shaib for the kind of effort.
So this title was secured when again?
It was just last in December.
In December.
Just last year, we just got the title.
I see.
In December. So what we've been given a 10-acre, and that's already wall, and then we push for a 6-acre around the land, which can be used for car park and stuff like that. So immediately we got the title, I sent it to the IOC because that's what they've been pushing for, as well as the Olympia Africa Center. Okay, so when they had their board meeting in February, Olympia Africa said they're going to give us $150,000. They budgeted $150,000 for Ghana for the project. So they asked for design. They wanted a stadium. They wanted a tennis court and then a sports hall. We got some guys who put together those budgets, and then I had sent it to them somewhere in the middle of March. They are yet to get back to, but Channel called me. It's all okay. What we need to do, we need to get other people who may be interested in putting up certain facilities
around
it. Yeah. What we've done currently is just a playing field where the community or the schools in the area go and have their inter primary schools events. We have a volleyball courts there, netball court. But we would encourage other companies, especially GNPC, who were the people we had started initial discussion with. Of course, the title thing took us back. Now we have title to the land. So sometime, hopefully by just after the Olympic Games, Olympia Africa intends to start some construction, especially the tennis courts at the center. There have been other interest groups.
Can you clarify this? So the $150,000 is the cost of the project, the initial project that you're going to do.
No, it's not the cost of any project. That is what they have budgeted for Ghana.
You. All right.
So we need to look at
what's the full cost then? I mean, putting the whole place together.
I think the tennis court was something less than $40,000.
I see.
Okay, the tennis court. So and then the.
But I'm talking about getting the whole place ready.
We don't have a budget for the whole place. We only have things that we want to do to cover up. For instance, we want to have 2 AstroTurfs there, and then the main grass football field will be there. We want to have a sports hall, and then we want to have an open sports hall. We haven't put figures, or we haven't put quantities.
And obviously, if you want, figures, Robert Coleman of Wembley Construction is going to give you.
For Robert, I took Robert there once. Yeah. Okay, what we want to do
and tell him that I asked him to give you a very big
thank
discount.
You very much. I'll do that. What we want to do, for instance, when we approach companies, we're approaching them with the designs. Like, look, we want to put up a sports hall, okay, and this is the designs that our engineers have come up with. Go ahead, do it for us, and then just hand it over without even giving money to the NOC. So we will leave companies that are interested in, they can put in projects or facilities there, and then they can even brand it or give it their name. That's what we're encouraging a lot of companies to do. Once it's finished, the focus is then going to be talent identification. We have coaches at the center who are going to help these young talents, to build their talents to the national elite level. Okay, and together with the Olympic African Center in Africa, we would try and encourage a lot of these young talents would then be on their way to schools in the US, in Europe, where they can be trained better as national athletes.
Very shortly, we'll be we'll be activating the phone line so that everybody can join us and also give us their thoughts as well. Chief Lariotu says, please tell the president of the GOC that what we need is a national sports policy. This is something, this is something that has been discussed on various platforms. Your thoughts on that?
Well, now I have the previous minister has sent me a draft of what had been done by, I don't know, maybe a team but when I met the current minister, what I suggested to him, you need to have a stakeholders meeting, and out of that stakeholders meeting we can develop that blueprint, because what I saw, I thought did not address all the challenges that we currently have with our sports. So if we could have a stakeholders meeting, a stakeholders workshop, maybe a 2 days workshop, and then even within that workshop, you are put in separate groups to focus on one area of our sports. I'm sure that when we leave that workshop, that 2 days workshop, we should be able to come up with a blueprint, which would then be what's our strategic plan or what our national sports policy will be like. The other thing that the minister also spoke about is a national sports fund. Okay, where I think I have a bit of a challenge is a revenue stream into that sports fund. If we're going to have a sports fund, that will entirely depend on the benevolence of organizations or the benevolence of people who want to support sports. That it's okay, but that will not solve the problem.
You want to see something statutory?
Exactly. Maybe putting a little bit of tax on our sports betting companies, our alcohol manufacturing companies, our cigarette selling companies, things that take away our health, and then also companies that are benefiting from our sports, like the betting companies. I think that would be a more steady flow of income into the sports fund. If the minister is able to get that going, trust me, at least 50% of our sports worries would have been solved. But that will still not be enough. We need more funding. We need more support from corporate Ghana.
Well, let's do a few more of the messages. This one is coming from Inko Joseph. He says, I think the humble nature of the GOC president, Ben Mensah, can help bring enough sponsors on board. Okay, thank you very much. And we'd like to say greetings to the Deputy Director General of SNIT, Mr. Michael Addo, who listens to the show a great deal.
Hi, Mike. I'll be there this week to see you.
Yes, there are a few more of the messages. Remember, you can bring them in. You can send them in. It's 055 1111997. 055 1111997. Honorable Mohammed Ajay Soa, who is the mayor of Accra, has sent this one. Congratulations to Benunu Mensah for the sterling and steady and progressive leadership. I'd like to hear his views on our preparations and expectations for the Africa Games scheduled to take place in Ghana in 2023. Okay, let's address the honorable mayor's question. I was actually going to come to that. It's a major subject that we want to go into here on the show.
Yeah, first let me say thanks to the mayor. He's also somebody who has so much love for Ghana sports, and sometimes I don't believe he's more of a politician than a sports person. I mean, mayor has supported all the sports disciplines. I know he's been great help to triathlon, to swimming, and to all the other sporting disciplines. Mayor, thank you very, very much. In your minimum job for all the support you're giving to the development of Ghana sports. Nuts. 2023, if we start well, if we are very dedicated to it, will probably be the turning point, will be what will turn Ghana sports for the better. When you organize big sporting events, it gives the nation the chance to all of a sudden provide facilities which we don't have, to invest a little bit in their athletes, which we badly need. So far, it's been good. The only worry that I have is that we haven't been able to put our pickers on the ground and get the construction of our Olympic Stadium going. I am part of the LOC and I know what is happening in there. I won't pretend to speak for the LOC, but at least by way of sharing of the information, there's a lot of goodwill, especially on the side of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And that for me is about 100% of the battle won. Once you get that commitment and that dedication from the leadership, anything you want to do is possible. What is left is the people that he's charged with the responsibility to go out there and make sure that they're sealing the deal. The stadium hasn't taken over. I know the drawings are ready, and it's supposed to be in a place called Boteman. If those who drive on the motorway, the other side of the motorway, not the Tema side, but the other side. That's where Boteman is. If we're able to get that stadium, that Olympic stadium, finished or done, it will change our sports completely, because then we're looking at having all the facilities in there. There's also the proposal to upgrade what we have at the Accra Sports Stadium, especially the sports hall. We've also gone around to see a few facilities, of course. Then these facilities are owned by SNIT.
Can you clarify this? The proposal to upgrade Accra Stadium to replace what we're doing in Boteman?
No, not the Accra Stadium. Is the facilities like the tennis court,
Okay.
the sports hall.
Okay.
The stadium itself or the playing grounds itself, there's nothing much that we can do. Okay, we'll probably upgrade it to a certain standard where some of the football matches can be played there. But the key emphasis is on the construction of a new 50-seater Olympic stadium.
50,000 seats.
Sorry, 50,000 Olympic stadium, which will have all the facilities, which will have the volleyball, will have a tennis court, something twice the size of what we have in Cape Coast. Sure, you know what has been done in Cape Coast. If we can get something twice the size of what we have in Cape Coast, for a big sporting nation like Ghana, that is it. Okay. We've also gone to see a few facilities, and these ones are owned, like the Emporium. Okay. SNID also has sports facilities similar to what is at the Emporium, but I think this one is even much better than what is at the Emporium, and that is at West Hill Mall, behind the West Hill Mall. There's a huge sports facility. It has a stadium, it has a sports hall, it has a swimming pool. It's a shade better than what you guys know at the Emporium. We've also gone to look at that, and that could also be a venue. We even look at the facilities, the new apartment that is being constructed there. That could also serve as a games village. But as you already know, we're looking at the games village being put at the University of Ghana, where we can also have our restaurant currently based there. You see, so far I think that we're moving quite well. We've just had a meeting where the logo for the games had been finished. The theme and the songs for the games have also been finished. And I'm looking that by the middle of the year, we should have the structures and systems that we're going to use to run the games. From now to 2023 is just 26 months, so there's not much time. Because the idea is, if you're going to run big games, you need to have your facilities ready at least a year before the games, and then you can even do test events. So what it means is that latest by the middle of 2022, we should have our stadium finished. And I believe that with the level of commitment I'm seeing from government, it is possible to do that. But we need to work harder and work faster than we're currently doing.
Well, it's about some 23 minutes to the top of the hour, 2 p.m. I will activate the phone lines in a bit so that you can join us and be part of this conversation. But we're having a conversation with the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Mr. Ben Nunu-Mensah. We're taking a look at how well we can get ourselves ready for the upcoming Olympic Games here on the Joy Sports Link. Now, let's look at the peer review structure, I mean, we have the likes of Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire have been coming up very strongly in the sprints. Same with Nigeria. Nigeria always have the numbers when we go for these events because they have a completely different structure of running their sport from the administrative structure through to the kind of infrastructure that they have on ground in every state. you know how much of these examples from around, let's even limit ourselves to the West African sub-region, do we employ and also try to emulate to get our system right and get our things going?
Not. It's a good question, but you and I know that there's a lot that we're not doing. There's a lot that we need to be doing that we're not doing. You just mentioned about Cote d'Ivoire. I mean, some years back, we were miles ahead of Cote d'Ivoire in terms of track and field, everything. But now we go to the African Games and you find countries like Cote d'Ivoire ahead of Ghana. And it's all got to do with our lack of interest in the development of the other sports. Look, when did we have the last African Games where we put up all the stadiums in Ghana? We took off the tartan tracks, that Accra Sports Stadium, okay, and then for some time we had to depend on Airwork. The tartan tracks on Airwork got destroyed. Kumasi and Sekendi were supposed to have good tartan tracks. Now, I don't know if you've gone there to go see them. You see, so for a nation that wants to develop track and field, even the basic thing for these young athletes to run on, we're not interested in getting it for them. When countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, they're putting so much there. Yes, a few have been done in the last 4 years by Honorable Isiamo, but it's still not enough, because at the time that we should have been working, we're not working. At the time that other countries were running, we were just stuck. So now that we want to catch up with people, we need to do much better than just running. We need to fly. So there's so much in terms of infrastructure that we lack. And it's caught up with us. And that is where we find ourselves in the situation that we are. I just spoke to you earlier on about investing in these young athletes. Look, the least we can do for these athletes to develop is to make sure that they appear in as many African competitions as possible. So that even if we don't have the facilities here in Ghana here, they go and compete in Nigeria. They say there's an African championship, maybe an African volleyball championship in Nigeria, who have a better facility. These guys are going to play on the good facility. So when they show up at the world stage, they're already used to those facilities. They've seen them. It doesn't scare them. These guys are seeing all the top athletes in Africa. They're competing with them. So when they show up and they're all out in the African Games, they don't get scared and they compete fairly. So there's a lot that we should be doing, but we're not doing them. And it's not that we don't know the challenges. We don't know the problem that we have. But we have to start working as a nation. And like I said earlier on, it's not going to be just the minister addressing these issues. It's not going to be just the GOC, but all of us, everybody involved in sports. And I hope that as and when the minister holds that stakeholders meeting, where we can develop the blueprint for the ministry, some of these things will come up. And then as a nation, we commit ourselves to having them done.
Well, apologies to all of you who sent in your messages through our WhatsApp console. We're having a bit of a challenge there, so I'll do my best to share those of those that are on our other handles on social media. Now, this one is from Bocho Nkegbe, Ghana's para-athlete who's qualified for the Paralympic game. He says, Nat, please can you extend my greetings to the GOC president for the good work he's doing for Mother Ghana, especially myself through my sporting discipline, though it doesn't fall under the GOC. Okay, so this is from Bocho Nkegbe.
Great guy. He loves his country. I haven't seen any athlete so patriotic, so committed to the nation, than Bocho. And Sometimes I ask myself if somebody who is physically challenged could do so much, with very little. Bocho gets virtually next to nothing support, from anybody. But he's so committed. He'll go out there, go even if there's no sponsor, just on his own, go and do things. So how much more the able-bodied people like us? I think we should be doing much better than we're doing. Looking at Bocho's case.
Great stuff there. So let's get on the phone lines very shortly. It's 0302 Let's get through to us, and let's have a conversation here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. All right, so a couple of things are happening in sport with Ghanaian sportsmen outside of here. And so in boxing, for instance, Ghana's Theophilus Tete is fighting for the IBF international title in South Africa, and he's going up against Ayambonga Sunjitra of South Africa. I hope I got the pronunciation correct. Also, Ghanaian-born Denzel Bentley, also known as Denzel Intim Mensah, whom we interviewed here on our platform last December, is going up for the Commonwealth title. He's the current British middleweight champion, and he's going up for the the Commonwealth title, the Commonwealth middleweight title against the current holder, Felix Cash. So let's see how all of it goes for them. We're going to bring you updates on all of our programming from the start of the week on what happened, and we're going to be hearing from them as well. So 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. All right. Now, let's talk about the kind of support and collaboration that you've been getting from the International Olympic Committee. On a yearly basis, they facilitate certain things for all their national associations, all their NOCs. What's the level of support that you get from your end as well?
Okay. In terms of support to the NOC or to the GOC, all that we get in a year, by way of administrative grants is the $45,000, and that's supposed to pay for the staff salary, for electricity, utilities, and all the other stuff. But quite apart from that,
so it's $45,000 a year.
Yeah, that's
okay.
And that is for the GOC.
That's for administrative.
Okay. Exactly. Any other money that comes to the GOC is coming in the name of one particular federation or the other. Maybe it's a scholarship for athletes, it's a coaching program for one federation or the other, and that is where we ought to get it for. The other support that we get, which I always cherish, is the one that comes from ANOCA, and it's not like a support that is there that they give to you. But once you have a good relationship and you can assess that support, they will.
ANOCA is the Association of National Olympic Committees of Africa.
Africa, exactly. Yeah. For instance, when we had challenges with getting funding from government for our national teams to go for qualifiers, especially for the Olympics, or the last money we gave to all the national federation, that came from ANOCA. And even the year before, ANOCA has also been very, very supportive. Of course, ANOCA gets its funding from the IOC. So I want to believe that once money is coming from ANOCA, it goes. So, and those are the support that I cherish most, because they are support that is coming and we're giving directly to our national teams.
Before you go on, let me announce the phone lines again. 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. Get through to us and let's have this conversation together as we gradually wrap it up. Yes, you are making the point. Please
okay.
Go ahead.
I'm saying, and that is the support that I cherish most. The other support that I cherish ultimately is also the support from the IOC or Olympic Solidarity that goes to our athletes by way of scholarship. It gives these athletes at least some money that they can spend on going for competition, especially that most of them are based outside. We currently have 12 of our national athletes on the IOC GOC scholarship. 6 are from the track and field, so at least they have some money.
Is there any cap to the number of scholarships that the IOC can give to any national association?
There is no cap per se, but you have to earn it. For instance, you apply for it, okay, and you're applying with your records, with your achievements, and for instance, if you're track and field, then there are about 20 applications, and then IOC or Olympic Solidarity puts a cap at 10. You should be within the first and per their criteria that they're using to give out the scholarship. And I know the criteria is your performances at international competitions, what you've done by way of results on your competitions. So the cap actually comes from the Olympic Solidarity.
All right. Let's do another phone line. 055 997. 055 997. Call that number instead. So 055 997 is the phone number. Get through to us and let's have a conversation. 055 997.
So as much as you have athletes who are doing well internationally, you can have that many being put on IOC scholarship. Because then you're competing with others who are also putting application for the scholarship. So if you have gone to 16 games within the last 4 years or within the Olympiad and your results are good, and then somebody else has gone to just about 5 games and the results are not as good as yours, obviously you'll be considered above the one that has less games.
Well, let's talk about administration and how much our administrators from here and our leaders in our sporting federations are getting themselves involved in international sports politics and international sports administration. So, for instance, you go to football, and Mr. Randy Abbey, for instance, is serving on a committee at CAF. Tony Baffo is the Deputy General Secretary Football Development for CAF. We have a couple of CAF appointed match commissioners for tournaments and all of that. You come to boxing, and we have a former GBA chairman, Mr. Samer Kaptan, is now the World Boxing Organization's president for Africa. Okay, and there are so many other examples, that we can look at. So when it comes to the GOC and its executive, and for that matter, the broader family, how well are we placing ourselves to also serve beyond the context of just this region?
I would even start with the national federations. Okay, you look at the number of ITOs. ITOs, I mean the international technical officials that even federations have.
Yeah,
that is on the low
and of
side.
course we have to mention the likes of Farida Gindo.
Yes,
of the swimming federation.
Mahadi. We can talk of O2 in karate. These are international technical officials. Especially when we're going to do 2023 here, we need a lot of these ITOs. And that is something that I had discussed with the local organizing committee, that if they can invest a little bit of money, especially when these coaching courses, these referee courses come up within the federations or within Africa, let's try and send our technical officials. Because when we have tournaments here, when we have championship here, and then we're bringing people, referees and judges from outside. For instance, in a case of boxing, if it's a 50-50 case, and then the judge or the referee is from somewhere else, obviously it's going to go to the other party. But if we have Ghanaian referees, Ghanaian judges, Ghanaian officials being involved here, why not? They would all be they would try and work things in our way. So it is very important. Now, at the level of the GOC, even though we have some of our board members who are ITOs, I still think that it is not enough. One thing that, as a nation, we haven't done is politically lobbying for our officials to get to the African level. Sometimes we even think that we don't even want our people to get to that level. When they're almost there, we do things to bring them down, and that is something. Well, that's what people may want to believe it is, but it's actually not. We need to involve ourselves a little bit more in lobbying for these positions in Africa, because that is the only way that when there are championship, when there are decisions that have to be made, once we have our people there, some of these decisions are made to favor our country, Ghana.
Well, it's 055 Well, this is not the regular number that we use. So this one, we can use this for our phone calls now. So 055 11 11 997 055 11 11 997. Well, there's some information that just came in, and it talks about the passing of one of our greatest sporting legends. He was 90 years of age, and I'm told that he passed away yesterday. Well, we'll talk about that in a bit. Let's just pick a few points before we wrap it up here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Yeah. All right. Now, so there's clearly a lot of work to do. In the next 3 months. What will be the plan regarding the monitoring of the progress of our athletes, especially those who are not based here? What is the plan with yourself and the respective association presidents when it comes to monitoring all of them and making sure that they are all in good shape, getting ready for the games?
Okay. For those who are based outside, I think they are being, especially the track and field stars. I know Andrew Usu does a lot of work in making sure that everybody's up to it. So we don't have a lot of challenge with those who are based outside. Fortunately for us, with the boxers who are based here, we've been able to get them into residential camping from yesterday. So there could be proper monitoring of their training. For those who are yet to qualify, for instance, the weightlifters, the championship is in Madagascar in the middle of May. Once we get the full complement of our qualified athletes, of course, they would also join the boxers in camping at the hotel along the beach. Now, once that is also ready, or we have our full complement, what we intend to do is to leave Ghana somewhere in the middle of or beginning of June, and then head for Inawashiro, where Team Ghana will come for a month. So probably from the middle of June to the end of July, when the game starts on the 24th of July. We're hoping to have the full complement of Team Ghana camping in Inawashiro. They made available to us top class facilities. I sent quite a couple of pictures to you, but I realized you hadn't looked at them. We're going to camp in a facility that can camp as many as 500 athletes, and it has virtually all the top class facilities that you can think of. The only facility that is not within the stadium or within the complex is our swimming pool, which is just about 5 minutes drive from the complex. But that notwithstanding, this is a top world-class facility that Team Ghana will be based in for a month. We hope that it would help at least to sharpen them up just before they leave for the Games Village on the 23rd of July.
All right, so that is how we would want to wrap it up. While we all come out, would have to celebrate the life of Mr. N.A. Ajintete, the founder of the Danceman Cape Fit Club, the man who brought us the biggest marathon in this country. He surely has paid his dues when it comes to the organization of sport and the laying of the structures in this country. We had him some years ago here on the show. I remember at the time Ernest Cranting was the host of the show, and we named it the celebration, Joy Sports Legends Month, and he's done his due. So we have to say a prayer for him. So Mr. Ene Ajintete, surely a great legend, a man who has contributed a great deal to our society when it comes to our sports development. And just before we wrap it up, there's something that is becoming synonymous with me, especially because of a video that's been trending on social media. A question that I asked a boxer, whom I hosted here. So, Mr. Benunu Mensah, where do you go from here?
Oh my God! Yes,
where are we going from? The presidency of the GOC. Are you going?
Not. I'm going home. No. Look, on a more serious note, I
Yeah.
mean that was one bit of a clip that I love so much.
Yeah, yeah,
But
sure.
not the GOC. There's so much potential. There's so much energy. There's so much that the GOC can do to change the course of Ghana sports, and we intend to do that. Fortunately for me, I have a board and officers who are as equally committed to changing things as myself, and I hope that within the 4 years that we have now, things should be different. At the end of our mandate, Ghana sports should see a different direction and a different image. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And big greetings to Sadiq Adams, aka Sadiq Obama, the head of Angel Sport. Thanks so much for doing the listening as well. And would like to say a few happy birthdays as well. Reginald Alote Papo, fine seasoned young entrepreneur in the beverage industry. Reginald Alote Papo, happy blessed birthday to you. And thank you so much for always doing the listening. And another very big one to our very own super producer, on the gospel programming front, Christian programming front, Michaela Anderson Nai. Happy blessed birthday to you. We are going to have a special party today. I know that. Happy birthday. Her husband is a black man, but he's blushing so bad. Yeah. Today be today. So for mommy, Michaela Anderson, happy blessed birthday to you. We love you bits, to great bits. And thank you all very much for doing the listening to the show. To the family of the legendary N.A. Ajintete, we say we'll keep you in our prayers and would like to celebrate the life of this very great man. Thank you so much for making us number one and for keeping faith with us every other Saturday between 12:10 and 2 p.m. I'd like to say thank you to the Joy Sports team and my sitting producer, Benaya Elom Dafiamekpo. And of course, the man who's always smiling with his punk hairstyle is in here to bring you Showbiz A to Z after the very adorable Hannah Odami brings you the Joy Headline News at 2. I'm done here with my senior, a former school prefect, college prefect of St. Augustine's College, president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Benunu Mensah. I should be going home as well from here. Look, thank you so much for listening. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.